This is a first larger-than-life, living drawing performance that I've ever done. It seems appropriate that it should be for the big draw. It could be the big mistake, it should be the big gaffe, who knows? We'll sort of see how it goes, but I'm going to just make a drawing of the building museum looking that way and see if we can get it right. And as I draw, I will try to explain some of what's happening. This is not the easiest building in the world to draw for those of you who are feeling remotely intimidated by the act of drawing. I mean, if you can just get over the sheer scale of the space, then you're going to want to pick maybe a small area, a column, at the base of the column. I mean, you could start anywhere, but I decided to, if I'm going to mess up, I'm going to do it big time. Now I'm drawing the flat end first, because it's just easier to start that way. We have these little, I don't know what they're called, these little things sitting up there. Would be good for mints, for instance, and things like that. Okay, let's go up again. There's the stairway again. The great thing about drawing is this has nothing to do with making art. This has simply to do with looking harder at what's in front of you. And the more you look, the more you learn, which is the whole reason for drawing. It's why I draw. And then it helps me learn what I need to know to do the books. And then, of course, I can use some of those drawings and develop them in order to make illustrations, which help me teach what I've learned. And that's why people think I'm so bright. The one thing I'm not doing that you should always do when you're making a drawing of something this large is get back from it from time to time and make sure that your perspective is still sort of under control. I'm not really doing that, as you can tell. Now, we have to bring these things. Let's start with this one. I'm going to bring it out to here, and this is where it starts to come off at an angle. So I have to think, okay, now where am I? If I was to project my eyeballs straight across the floor, horizontally, they would hit this column right about here. So let's call that a vanishing point. Okay, now, there's the vanishing point. I just put it down. And now everything that comes towards us, all these lines that come towards us, have to start at this point. That's how we're going to organize. So I know I've got a corner in here somewhere that we can't see, so let's put one of these in. I've got another corner here, so I'm going to have something like that. I'm not really worrying about whether these line up with the ones below. It's busy enough so that you won't ask. Now you're probably recognizing that I'm not actually doing too many people in here. We'll put some folks in. These are architectural people. They're not really people, they're just little squiggles, but that's what we architects feel like. These are the clients we work for. That's what they look like, actually, these real clients. Sometimes they wear hats and have interesting dogs, And then, so we'll bring this over to here, and we can continue this, obviously. Now, where's the light? Let's see if we can. Practice that. Hope you appreciated that. You also notice that I keep moving around the drawing. I don't just stay in one spot, because I keep wanting to check myself and make sure I'm maintaining the same ground lines and so on and so forth. You move around the drawing a lot when you're working on something this complicated. You can't stay in one spot, or you'll do a beautiful drawing of one little section and it won't make any sense with the rest of the drawing. That's when you throw it away in disgust and start all over. There's our little mint holder, and then this thing comes all the way across, this is all the way across. We have one of those architectural people waving from up here, and another one down here. We have possibly somebody up here who's actually tied sheets together. Probably an employee of the National Building Museum who's been trapped on the third floor for some time, and has finally gotten desperate. So the more you do this, you get faster and faster. The point is with the drawing, if I take my time with just one of these things and draw the acanthus leaves carefully, usually the viewer will give you the benefit of the doubt and assume that you've kind of spent that kind of time on every capital, because they all sort of quickly look the same. So there is an opportunity for shorthand all the time in drawing. You don't have to draw every little detail. You sort of have to make it look like you've drawn every detail. And as long as your perspective is more or less holding it all together, people will buy it. I don't mean literally. You ever see that guy on public television who does the landscapes with paintbrushes? I always swore I would never do that. Just too intimidating. So now it pushes that back a little bit, and we've got some... Okay, so, that's basically a single point perspective drawing, and if we took the time to connect all the lines, you only really see them up here, but if I went all the way over to the other side, there's another big massive column about to cut into this one, so we would never get to it, but... Anyway. Thank you very much.